Rakesh Sharma, Executive Director with Bajaj Auto, joins us now. Good morning, happy Diwali.
Morning, happy Diwali.
Everything was looking good for Bajaj Auto. The stock was doing well, numbers were coming, demand was looking robust. But then your quarterly numbers, your guidance, which in a sense surprised the market that where the demand and where the demand trends are moving. What forced you to come up with a slightly cautious guidance along with your quarterly numbers?
Well, partly I would say it is a hypersensitive audience. Uh, what we had said at the analyst call is that and this is, almost verbatim, that it has been a slower start to the season. And it was, the industry was at around 5-6%. It was a very muted exit from quarter two. Quarter one for the industry was good. Quarter two was a bit muted. And then there was a slower start. But we had also said that more and more one is finding that the last few days, particularly around Diwali and Diwali regions, can swing it. And that is exactly what has happened. Um, I would say we are still on course for what we had said at the beginning of the financial year, that we see the industry growing at about 6 to 8% in the fiscal. That growth being driven by the top half of the industry, which is the 125cc plus segment, which should be in double digits. And therefore, obviously, the 100cc segment a tad lower. And our primary focus being in the top half, we should outpace that industry. I think we are absolutely on that trajectory. And in fact, the season has turned out to be quite a smashing one.
Amidst the festive season sales, could you give us any indication or direction at least as to how the urban versus rural sales have panned out? Because I think the concern was more about the rural sales in any case to begin with.
Actually, I would say that the trends which we have picked up are that the non-metro, the non-big city performance has been much superior to the metro and the mini metro performance. Now, there may be exceptions here and there, but largely when we are in the early stage of analysis, but that trend seems to come through. The growth has been such that I must point out that it's been pretty secular. So when I'm saying better, it's not that it's negative and positive. Some of these smaller towns, smaller cities have grown faster than the larger cities. I would say it's just that kind of an early trend which we have spotted.
Do you expect that the second half then could be a slow start but a strong finish because government spending will equalize, the base effect would start kicking in? So what you've guided, do you think you are likely to get pleasantly surprised, and are you conservative with your guidance?
See, I think that there will be a natural dip in second half of November and December, which is structurally there in December because people generally wait for the new model year, and post Diwali there is a natural dip, and we should start picking things up from January onwards. But if you see that in this 32-day period, the right way to analyze this 30-day period of the festival is to compare it on a retail basis, not on wholesale basis, because different companies have different approaches to stocking up and stocking down. What really matters is how much of the product, how much of the bikes are being consumed on the ground, and how is it compared to last year. But when we compare last year, we should be careful to take the right period of last year. We should compare apples and apples. So Diwali, as you know, last year was delayed. So like if this year the festive was 3rd October to 31st October, Last year, it was 15th October to 12th November. When we compare these two periods, we see that the industry has grown by 10%. For us, in the top half of the motorcycle industry, which is our focus, we have grown by over 21% in retail terms. This has bolstered the performance of the first half or the first 7 months for industry and, of course, for us on a retail basis. And this is good news that the customer is coming back, albeit the customer waited, but they're coming back. So now to decode all this, underlying sentiment does seem to be positive. We remain on our guidance of, it's 6 to 8% growth for the industry, with the top half growing faster than the bottom half. And that is what has driven our strategies, go-to-market, product development, etc. And we are continuing on that path.
Is it that whole point of the base level bike, which is 125cc? That's where everybody in a sense is trying to understand that is there a threat of slowdown, and is there a cannibalization which could happen because of premiumization? Because that in a sense is the bread and butter category, at least for the incumbent two-wheeler makers.
Well, the 125cc, just that segment is perhaps the fastest growing segment. If I just leave out the very, very super premium bike because they are very small and the bases are very small, so growth rates don't matter. But if I sort of cut it between 100cc, 125cc, 150cc, 125cc is the fastest growing, and that's what we have been saying. If you look at the bottom of the pyramid has fallen off. Despite huge discounts and despite it becoming a red ocean, the growths have not come. The growths are all either in the premium 100cc or the 125cc, and then of course also in the 150cc. That is the segment which is growing, and which is good news because it indicates that the customer is willing to upgrade from 100 to 125cc. That phenomena on a slow burn has been uninterrupted over the last few years. If I rewind 5 years back, the 125cc plus segment, out of which 125cc, if you just take the 125cc, it was only 18-19% of the Indian motorcycle industry. Today, it is 25-26%. So it's a 6 percentage point shift of the share of the 125cc segment, which has occurred in these 5 years and is continuing to occur like that. And that is the trend which we had spotted. And if you see the kind of product development which we have been focusing on, it is aimed at this segment. So that is why between 125 and 250cc, the lineup which we have now got of almost, I would say, 23 models covering every single subsegment, price and functionality, is the result of this anticipation that the 125cc plus segment will grow faster, and it offers better margin opportunities and better differentiation opportunities.
What has become a very large stay for Bajaj Auto? While we've discussed rural India, we've discussed 125cc, you've spoken about demand in terms of the Diwali, Dussehra impact. Where is the export demand headed? Are things looking better? Because that, in a sense, is a sizable contributor to your total kitty now.
Yes, you could. Again, the export trajectory is what we have been saying, that we are seeing every month, every quarter, an improvement. Every quarter is 10% plus better than the previous quarter. Every month has been better. Largely driven by Latin America growing very strongly, things getting sort of improving, but still fragile in places like Nigeria. To give you an example, we sold retailed 22,000 units in Nigeria in August, 25,000 in September, and 33,000 in October. So you can see that trajectory. And why I'm saying fragile is because these currencies are shifting around quite a bit. So till the time there is some kind of equilibrium in the currency markets, the situation will be fragile. But it is on an improvement path. And that is why you see our exports growing. If you take year to date, you will see that our exports have grown by 9%. But if you look at it in terms of value, the revenue has grown by 15% in the same period, which suggests that there is a better mix, which is driven by some very strong performances coming out of Latin America, parts of Europe, and parts of ASEAN, like Philippines. So when you put all this together, we feel that both from a mix, volume, and revenue point of view, there will be a steady improvement in export. There may be a month here and there because there is also seasonality in overseas markets, particularly around the winter months. But for sure, the curve is pointing upwards, as it has been for that. But I don't expect it to suddenly, zoom up. It's been a steady growth for the last 2-3 quarters. That will continue.
All right, appreciate your time. Thank you for walking us through the growth projections for Bajaj Auto. And here's wishing you all the very best. That's the word coming in from Mr. Rakesh Sharma, talking about how they have seen a slow start to the festive season, but it has certainly provided a boost to the sales. January onwards is when they're expected to see a better pickup. Well, let's shift.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.